There are divorces that fade quietly into Hollywood's endless carousel of breakups. And then there was the one between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. When they split in 2016, it wasn't merely the end of a marriage, it was the disintegration of a global myth. The world had crowned them Brangelina, the golden couple who seemed to embody everything glamorous, charitable, and artistically untouchable. Their union was supposed to be the storybook version of modern love. But like many Hollywood fairy tales, it collapsed under the weight of its own perfection. What remained after the smoke cleared was not just two broken adults, but 6 children, each navigating the emotional wreckage in their own way. Among them, Knox and Vivienne, the youngest and perhaps the most enigmatic, have grown into quiet symbols of resilience and individuality. While their older siblings, Maddox, Pax, Zahara, and Shiloh, have had their moments of public visibility, it is Knox and Vivienne who have come to represent something more delicate and profound: the silent maturity that grows in the shadow of chaos. When Angelina Jolie filed for divorce in September 2016, the shockwaves were immediate. Reports of conflict, alcohol abuse, and a mid-air altercation between Brad Pitt and one of the children filled tabloid headlines. Jolie cited the health of the family as her reason for separation. Yet behind those measured words was a decade-long love story unraveling in the most public way possible. The ensuing custody battle became one of the most scrutinized legal dramas in entertainment history. Each side accused the other of manipulation, emotional harm, and even abuse. Leaked court documents, endless speculation, and paparazzi stalking the children turned the family's private anguish into global spectacle. In the process, the Brangelina brand collapsed, leaving behind something far more human, far more fractured. For the children, that collapse wasn't just about losing the image of a perfect family. It was about choosing where safety truly existed. The courts granted Angelina primary custody, allowing Brad limited visitation rights under supervision. And while the arrangement seemed legally neat, emotionally it left deep fractures. Over the years, several of the older children, Maddox, Zahara, and Pax, reportedly severed contact with their father. Shiloh remained quietly neutral. But the twins, Knox and Vivienne, found themselves in the unique position of growing up largely in their mother's orbit, while the world speculated about the father they rarely saw. Knox Jolie-Pitt has always been the quietest of the 6. Even as a child, he avoided the flashing cameras, often hiding behind his mother's long coat or turning his face away when paparazzi shouted his name. He was the mirror opposite of Hollywood's idea of a celebrity child. At 17, Knox has emerged as an unexpectedly composed and introspective young man. Standing at 6 feet tall, with the sharp jawline and calm demeanor of Brad Pitt, he carries traces of both parents: his father's elegance, his mother's emotional gravity. But the resemblance is more than physical. It's symbolic. Knox seems to embody the unresolved tension between the two worlds he was born into, the artistic and the emotional, the public and the private. Contrary to recent rumors, Knox did not appear at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival, though social media buzzed with old photos mistakenly identified as new. What truly captured the public's attention wasn't a red carpet appearance, it was his quiet transformation. Behind the scenes, he has reportedly developed a passion for photography, a pursuit that began in 2020 when he served as his mother's photographer for a Harper's Bazaar feature. That photo shoot, subtle and elegant, was the first sign that Knox possessed a creative sensitivity often overshadowed by his parents' fame. While other celebrity teens chase visibility, Knox seems drawn to the opposite: the act of observing rather than being observed. In an industry obsessed with exposure, he finds meaning in framing the world rather than standing in front of it. A close family source told People, "Knox is intelligent and artistic. He's very close to his mother and often helps her with everyday things, errands, small trips, even assisting her on unofficial outings. He's not interested in fame. He's interested in perspective." That insight reveals something essential. For Knox, privacy isn't a rebellion. It's a form of self-preservation. Vivienne Jolie-Pitt, Knox's twin sister, has taken a very different yet equally meaningful path. While her brother stays behind the camera, Vivienne has stepped closer to the creative spotlight, but always on her own terms. In 2025, Vivienne joined her mother as an assistant producer for the Broadway adaptation of The Outsiders, a role that surprised even those within Hollywood. At just 16, she wasn't chasing stardom, she was working. Quietly, meticulously, and with a kind of purpose that speaks volumes about her upbringing. Angelina described her daughter with rare openness. Vivienne doesn't care for the spotlight, but she's deeply creative and responsible. She's always looking for ways to support young artists without drawing attention to herself. This statement encapsulates not only Vivienne's personality, but also the ethos Angelina seems to have instilled in her children. Use your gifts, but don't let the world use you. Vivienne's involvement in The Outsiders wasn't a publicity stunt. It was mentorship, learning and love woven together. In a family that has been defined by fame, Vivienne's choice to work behind the scenes represents quiet defiance. She isn't escaping her parents' legacy. She's redefining it. The image of Knox and Vivienne, two teenagers quietly growing up while the world debates their parents' morality, captures something profound about modern celebrity culture. In an age of overexposure, their silence has become their loudest statement. Since 2016, there have been no public photographs of Brad Pitt with Knox, none with Vivienne either. While Brad occasionally speaks about wanting reconciliation, the children's absence from his public life speaks louder than any PR statement. Sources close to the family confirm that the youngest two live full-time with Angelina, seeing their father only occasionally, if at all. This isn't just a logistical arrangement, it's emotional geography. To grow up divided between two parents who represent opposite worlds is to learn early about boundaries and survival. For Knox and Vivienne, choosing proximity to their mother isn't about taking sides. It's about choosing safety, empathy, and the version of family that feels most genuine. Angelina herself once said in an interview with The Guardian in 2024, "I'm not just their mother. I'm the safest place they can come back to. And I'll do everything to protect that." Those words cut through the noise. They weren't meant for headlines. They were a declaration of war against instability itself.